Well, hello, friends. How are you? It's Joni here at Joni's Journals. Good morning and welcome. As you can see, I've got a whole bunch of little thingies on my desk right here because I have decided to take part in the Mass Make March, I guess, collab that's going on. This video was supposed to be done last weekend, but due to circumstances beyond my control, I was unable to make it. And so I'm catching up. What is it now? March 15th, 15 days in. And I plan to do this one and maybe one or two others. But what we are going to do today is we're going to make little page tabs. And I have stamped some of my own ephemera, which you can see on here, using a variety of stamps that I have. And I have made myself some page tabs using scraps of Tim Holtz paper and also some, where are they? Scraps from my, let me just move my light. Again, I'm trying to not be too bright. I have used scraps from Elizabeth Craft Designs papers. This one is one that has a sunflower and this pretty, I don't know, fleur-de-lis pattern on it. So what we're going to do is I am going to show you how to make some of this stamped ephemera. We're also going to be using some bits from Tim Holtz as fill-ins. And let's get started. I'm going to go away for now, clean all this stuff up, and bring in my stamps and my stamp pads, and we'll get started, okay? I'll see you in a bit. All right, so what you see in front of you is I have pulled out some of my random stamps that I've purchased off of Amazon. If I can locate the names and such, I will be sure to give you all of that information, but you've seen these before. These are my little splatter stamps, and these are just some random, I guess you could say, postal stamps that I purchased on Amazon quite a while ago. And then I have my well-loved, I've lost the backing for it to show you exactly what it's called, but I do know that it is the Bo Bunny Postal line. Let's see, my lighting is really becoming a bit much lately. These are my Bo Bunny Postal Stamps. Let's see if I turn it this way. Well, you can't even really see them then. But like I said, it's Bo Bunny Postal. And this set, which you can see is relatively new, are my Cathe Holden Sign Here stamps. These, I believe I bought sometime last year. And if you look at the back, it'll give you a better idea of what is exactly in the stamp. They are by Spellbinders. I'm not sure if they're still available. I will check. Okay, and if they are, I will link them in the description box below. Let's just move those out of the way. I've grabbed two of my little, what do you call them, stamping blocks that I know I got on Amazon because they were cheaper and they work just as well as the more expensive name brands. And then I simply have a piece of white cardstock. I don't remember the name of the cardstock, but once I get up and get it, I'll link this in the description box below as well. It's also purchased on Amazon. I have my Hero Art Intense Black permanent ink, and I have my well-loved vintage photo, okay, my little dauber, which, as you can see, I haven't changed the pad for, so this is also well-loved. And let's get started stamping, okay? What I do first is, because I have an aversion to bright white on anything I make, and so I usually will try to either stencil it or ink it up somehow so that it is not so glaring in your face. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my vintage photo pad. Excuse me. This is an older one. I do have a couple of new ones because always got to have a supply of this. And I am going to just simply rub it on the back of my paper to try to make it a little bit grungier for what we are going to stamp onto the front of our paper. Let's just let this dry just a second before I flip it over. And I'm just going to give a little streak here and there on the side we're stamping on as well. And you can see I'm just gently touching the ink pad to the paper just to kind of give it a bit of a background so that when we stamp on it and we use these, they are not, again, glaring white. What I will do is I'm going to grab one of my Cathe Holden sign here set. And she has a few, let's turn this over again so maybe you can see. She has a bunch of cute little ones. Good work, some numbers, as found, approved, and this wonderful little one, the postage, which I have already stamped for you. And we have received, and we have this little tiny one also. And I'm going to show you how I, manipulate those once I have them stamped. So I'm going to grab this little one. This is this little one here. It says pass. What does it say? Room pass. And then it has that tiny little number and the line next to it. I'm going to put that over there. And I'm going to grab my smaller stamping block and my ink, of course. Can't stamp without ink. And I am just going to grab up some ink and hope it's enough. Seems to be stamped enough. And I am just going to make a little row of these stamps. I am stamping them kind of far apart and a little bit off the edge of the paper. You'll see that the stamp is going to get a little bit better as we use it and ink it up. So I'm just going to keep stamping a few of those here and maybe one more here. Okay. And I will put this one back, and then I'm going to grab that pretty postal one, which I just happen to adore. And again, I'm going to stamp it and ink it up really well with my ink. And again, I'm going to place it kind of far away from the other ones, because what I'm going to be doing, oh, that one came out perfect, in order to manipulate these so we can use them better, is I'm going to be using my punches to punch them out. You do not need a punch. You can cut these out with your scissors. I'm just going to make one more of these, like so. And then I'm going to put this one back, and I think we'll do one square one. Let's do, well, this one's a little bit, it's not quite square, more rectangular, but I haven't used this one yet. Okay, so what I'm going to show you too while we're here, this is a brand new stamp, and it's kind of sticky. Okay, all of these, what do you call them? The clear stamps usually are a little bit sticky on the front when you first get them. Let me just line this up. You see there's lines in there? I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to tilt it so you can. But there is a grid pattern on the stamping block. And so I'm just going to put my stamp on here and make sure that it's straight along one of those lines, or relatively straight. And then in order to take the stickiness out, I learned this on YouTube, how to remove sticky off your stamps. I use my, well, this one is a Statler white rubber eraser, and I'm going to just rub it across the top of the stamp. Okay, very lightly, and just enough to touch it and be gentle with it. And I know that some people frown upon using this, but I'm not abusing my stamp. And so I find that this way to remove the stickiness from my stamp works out very well for me. Go on YouTube and see how to remove sticky from stamps, and you'll see a variety of ways to do it. This is my fastest, easiest way, and like I said, I do it very gently just to remove that top layer of sticky. If you do that, if you do it this way, you don't want to abuse the stamp. If you rub it too hard, you will ruin the impression you're going to get. But this works for me, and so that's what I'm going to do. Now, again, because this is a new stamp, it's probably not going to stamp well the first time. So I'm just going to do it off to the side here. I'm looking to make sure you can see what I'm doing. And just stamp an image. Oh, and it came out perfect. Okay, so let's stamp this one up too. And we'll put this one right about here. Okay, there we go. And hopefully I'm far enough away from the round stamps that I've used so that nothing interferes with the other. Okay, I'm just going to do a few, and then I'm going to show you how I create my little pieces of ephemera. So what I'm going to do is I have a 1-inch circle punch. This is a no-name brand. I think I got it at Michael's. And then I'm going to grab my little 5/8 inch punch. Again, it's from Michael's. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it upside down so that I can see what I am punching. Oh, got a little piece of glue there. Okay, let's throw that in the trash before it creates a problem. I'm going to take my little 5/8 punch and I'm going to pull the back forward, and I'm going to see, can I reach that little stamp that I've done? No, I can't. So what I need to do then is I will grab my scissors and I will trim off the edge of the paper, not too far away from the stamp. Now, mind you, there are probably expert stampers out there who know exactly where to stamp their image on their page so that they don't have to play with their scissors. But I am not one of those. So now you can see I cut off just enough so that I can line up my image in my little circle punch. And I'm going to make sure that it's even. And I'm going to punch. And there we have our little piece of ephemera. Now I will normally go around the edges of this like this and just ink up the edges like so. Okay, so that's how I create my little piece of ephemera. Now, as an alternative to trying to find a way to make them look a little bit muckier, I will take my splatter stamp, okay, and I am going to just move this out of the way. I'll put that there. And I'm going to ink that up in my vintage photo. And I'm going to add a little bit of muck, shall we say, to my stamped images. See, now we have a little bit of coffee staining or tea staining. I completely missed the image on there. And I will just stamp over them to make them look a little bit dirtier, a little bit more vintage. You don't want to do too much because you don't want to destroy the image either. And again, you could do this on colored cardstock. I like to do it on the white, even though I don't like too much white, so that I get a clear, easy to see image. And I can always stamp these in another color. Some of the ones that I made before, which are here, they put them back here in this little cup. For instance, I stamped this image which comes from the Bo Bunny Postal set. I stamped this image in my Distress Oxide frayed burlap. And so I got a green image over which I stamped the little, what do you call it, postmark? I think there's another word for it. But yeah, so that's what I will do as well. Now for these bigger images, I am going to, again, grab my scissor, and I'm going to cut around it like so, okay? And I'm just going to, actually, I think what I'll do is I'll just cut up, straight up, and I'll put this one aside to use later. Now, again, you can see this one is too far over. I'm probably not going to be able to grab that one. Let me see. Do I have the right? Yeah, no. I'm going to use my bigger. Let's see. Oh, gosh, I can't remember which one I used. No, definitely not. Okay. We're just going to cut a little bit more off of here, like so, so that I can grab that entire image with my punch. And again, I'm using my 1-inch punch, and I'm going to take, and I am going to catch my image as close as I can. I hope you're seeing that. I'm just tilting it towards me, and I'm gonna punch, and I didn't lose it. And I have this, okay? The image is a little bit larger than my punch, so I'm actually not catching the edge, but I don't care because, again, I'm going to go around it with my vintage photo and ink up those edges to make it look a little bit older, okay? These are very simple and easy to make. Like I said, you could use a different color paper to stamp your image on. You could simply take, if you have Distress Oxide sprays or Distress ink sprays or any of the other sprays that are out there. The names are escaping me because I only own the ones from Ranger. And spray up your paper and make it a little bit more colored. But like I said, I want my image to be bold. I want it to be seen. So I'm just going to toss this one in my little cup with my other ones. And then I will show you how I handle these straight ones. Now, I do have dies, of course, this punch is so old. I really actually do need a new one. I could use dies to just die cut all of these out because I'm sure if I look far and wide, I probably have a die that would fit these. But quite simply, what I'm going to do is I am just going to cut straight around this and cut this one out with my scissor, like so. I'm going to cut it a little bit bigger because I do not cut straight. And I'm going to put it into my tiny trimmer. And I'm going to make sure that I'm getting it straight, just so you guys can see what it looks like correctly. This is a little trimmer that I found on Amazon. It's by a company called Dress My Craft. I don't even know if they're even still in business. And I didn't stamp this straight. So you know what? We're not going to use the trimmer. We're going to stick with the scissors. All right, guys, this is probably going to be wonky, but who cares? At least I have my number 1 to line myself up with, and I can use the bottom edge of the stamp to make sure I'm straight. And then I'm going to grab, and I'm going to use the top edge of the stamp, the image rather, and I can make sure that I am relatively straight. And so it's not too wonky, but here we go. We have another piece of ephemera, which you can see is inking on the back. And what I'll do, since I do have that white spot, is just ink up the back of that. So in a nutshell, that is how I make my little pieces of ephemera. Okay, I'm going to clean this up, and then we're going to do a little bit of punching. Not each other, to create some more page tabs, just so you can see again how that's done. And I can show you the punches that I use. And so I will be right back, and then we'll do that, okay? Bye. All right, friends, and we are back. Now, what would making page tabs be if I didn't take out my favorite Vaessen Creates Whale Tail Punch to make some punches? But because this is relatively expensive, and because I'm not sure how easy it is to find this anymore. I got this punch last year. I'm sure it's still around. In fact, I know it's around. They've even made a bigger one. Excuse me. I have also taken out my Fiskars Tab Punch. This is an old Mama Jamma, but I know that I believe I've seen it still in Michael's and maybe in Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to search it up on Amazon for you as well to see if maybe you can get it there. Okay, so I'm just going to I'm going to punch out a few tabs. I have taken, again, some of my scraps. This was my test punch before I came back on video to make sure that I had the strip that I had was big enough to make the punch with. And like I said, these are just scrap papers. This is scrap Tim Holtz. And this is scrap left over from Christmas paper from, again, Elizabeth Craft Designs. So this one is relatively huge. And so you can probably only get 2 tabs out of this. So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to punch. And what you end up with is something that looks like this. And then to make it a tab, I just fold it in half. This is advertised as a tag punch because it does create this uniquely shaped tag. I don't use it for tags. I like my tags to be the regular size. Again, this is another one. And it does, like I said, have a little hole punch on it, which I don't know if I'm using it right, but you can't really see it, but there is a little hole punched in there. And that part is this little thing down here, which looks like this. It sort of looks like a snap. It has an open side on this side, and it has the little raised bit on this side. I don't use it. You could if you want to. Okay, so then I'm going to take and I'm going to grab this, and I'm just going to make another one of these on the other side of this piece of paper, which, there we go, if we get it in there straight. And now we have 2 tags made out of that. And then let's be really economical and see if, oh, I should be able to use it with my Vaessen punch too. I'm just going to cut these edges off here and see if I can stick this into the Vaessen punch and make other little page tabs with it. Okay, now you can see it's relatively thin. It is, let's grab my handy dandy ruler. It's actually just a little under 1 3/4. It's 1 2 3 4 5/8. So let's see if it'll fit. Now, if you've never used the Vaessen whale tail, if you want to get a double-sided tab, you fold your piece of paper in half like so. And then I'm going to unlock it. And then you take it and you slide it into the punch like so. Okay, and this just fits, okay? And you give a punch like so. And there we have our little whale tail, okay? Now, if I want to make this a Christmas page tab, which I don't think any of my ephemera really applies, I could flip it this way onto the Christmas side. But because this doesn't really say anything in particular that leads to make you think that it's for the holiday, I'm going to use this side. Okay, so there we go. We got 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to take the strip of the Tim Holtz. And again, I've already punched one. And what I do is I tend to rip off the edge of the punch of the tab that I've already made. And I'm going to fold this in half. And again, I'm going to show you how I do it. You fold it in half and you stick it inside your punch like so. And punch away. Okay. And then I'll show you what I mean by tearing off the excess. You have something that looks like this. I just rip this off. And so I keep going. I'll flip it up again. And I will make sure it's straight. And then I'll make another tab. And I'll go like that, go that way all along this strip of paper. And again, tear it off right here. And we have it like so. Okay. I have never made a one-sided tab. People use them. I don't care for them. I like my tab to wrap around my page, but you could, by all means, here, I'll use this piece. You could, come here. You could, by all means, just make a one-sided tab as well. And then you would have something that looks like that. And I mean, they're useful. I don't care for them myself. Like I said, I like my tabs to wrap around my page. And that's the way I make mine. But you do you, okay? And you make your own, okay? So I'm just going to push all these little scraps off to the side, okay? And I'm going to take these little tabs and put them over here. And we're going to make a couple of quick little tabs using my ephemera and also the Tim Holtz. These are some of the ones I've already made. I think I showed you at the beginning of the video. Okay, this is made from the scrap Tim Holtz paper. And as you can see on the back of this piece of ephemera that I made, it is kind of mucky back there. And this is just something I stamped an image, and I think it is this stamp here that I stamped, and this image wasn't clear. So I took and I just punched out a tiny little circle using my 5/8 punch, and I captured this little 6 here. And so I just made that into its own little piece of ephemera. This one I made actually just before I filmed the video. So you might see some of the glue glistening back there. I haven't had a chance to clean it off yet. But again, I used a little piece of the leftover ribbon from when we made our little flip-flop tag book last week. Okay, so I had those 2 little pieces left over. So again, I took that and I cut off a piece, and I just put a little piece of the ribbon on here, okay? So what we'll do, maybe we'll make one just like this with the fabric on it, okay? I'm going to put these to the side, and I'm going to grab back some of my little Tim Holtz Snippets ephemera, and I think I have number labels there too as well. And maybe we'll make a little one using the fabric scraps that I have here, or the ribbon scraps, okay? So what I'm going to do, first I'm going to ink, okay? Because you know me, I like my edges of things inked, okay? I'm going to give you a link to Crafty by Tony's YouTube channel. She has been going to town doing these mass make March makes. She is one of us who is fortunate, and she is able to do a lot of videos. She works at home. Her career is based on YouTube, and also she has created her own line of stamps. And I think she designs washi tape now. So yeah, so she's able to do a bunch of these at once. All right, we've inked our little page tab. And I'm going to grab this piece of the scrap ribbon, and I'm going to measure it and see about how much I want to use. So I'm just going to take and I'm going to cut off a little bit of the ribbon. I'm going to toss that to the side, and I'm going to fray it because like I told you last week, this ribbon is 100% cotton. And yeah. Guys, I feel like I'm getting a cold, and I have just begun my spring break. And it's because, again, the children in our classroom have been sneezing and coughing. And in fact, one of the ladies was diagnosed with the flu yesterday, which I've already had. And so I'm just hoping this is just a cold. Okay, I have frayed up the edges of my ribbon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find where I want to put it on my little tab, okay? And I think it looks kind of cute off to the side there, similar to the other one. And so I'm just going to grab my glue, which is, of course, I use PVA glue, and I love it, but it is a little bit thinner than the glue that this glue press comes with. The glue that the glue press comes with is made by Nuvo, My Sweet Petunia, and it is a little bit thicker. So you'll see that when I pull my little gun out, it's usually stuck in there because the glue is relatively thin. They do say that the glue press will work best with certain glues. My PVA is a little bit too runny for it, and so it kind of gets stuck. So I put some glue on the tab, and now I'm just going to push down this little piece of ribbon that we have here. Okay, and that'll be the base to start adding our ephemera. Now, I did make various sizes and shapes of things. This would be ridiculous. So what I think I'm going to do is I am going to grab out one of my little favorites, my postal stamp, and I think I'm also going to grab out one of my little strips. I think we're going to end up making this one relatively similar to the one I made before the video, which is good because then at least you get to see what I did. Okay, so I'm going to take this tiny little number stamp. Okay, this was part of the Cathe Holden sign here, and I'm going to put some glue on the back of it, like so. Not too much towards the top, because the top is going to hang over the edge of our tab. And I'm going to glue this down like so, okay, over our ribbon. And I'm going to make sure it's straight. And then I'm going to take this one, which again is kind of large for the tab. But in this case, I think it kind of looks kind of cute hanging off the edge of the tab. So I'm going to put glue on half of the back of this one, okay? Just about half, maybe a little bit more, all right? And I'm going to lay that down over my little number stamp, and I'm going to push down so I make sure that it's stuck. I'm going to wipe off that excess glue there, okay? And so we have that, and then we have our Tim Holtz ephemera, and I'm kind of liking this little piece here. That'll fit just there, okay? And again, it will be hanging over our page tab, but that's okay. I'm going to ink it just a little with my vintage photo and my well-worn, well-loved dauber here. And put a little ink on there. And then again, I'm not going to ink all the way across the little piece because it does hang over. So I'm leaving, about 1/16 of an inch. And I'm going to put that piece right there, like so. And you can see it's hanging over just the tiniest little bit. I don't even know if you can see that back there. Well, you can. It shows in the camera. And there you go. We have our little page tab. These are simple and easy to make. You can, of course, I think I did a video last March or sometime last year making these, only I made bigger ones. If you search up my channel, I will search up my channel and see if I can find it, and I'll link it in the description box below, okay? So you can see how we did those. Those were very ornate and very over decorated, I guess. And so now what we'll do is I'm just going to grab one of the big ones. Okay. And this way we can use one of my little postage stamps that I use. I'm going to ink this all around while I have it open. And then we will give it a little bit of a foldy fold. And I'll ink the center of it, like so. I do want to let you know, I have recently purchased some more of the All and Create Memory Decks Rolodex cards, for lack of a better way to describe it. And I have been stamping with some of my All and Create stamps, and I have finally found a Facebook group, All and Create Fanatics, where I can share my ideas. All and Create is a wonderful company. I mean, I think they are just very unique and very dynamic, and I have fallen in love with them. And so it's great I could find a place to share ideas, get ideas, find out about new products. And so I'm going to be doing some of the Rolodex cards using my stamped images and also other things. I'm going to give you a little looky look. If you remember, I showed you this Rolodex die when I did my Rolodex cards. And so I was playing last weekend. I actually managed to grab about 20 minutes for myself and put together a little specimen card. This is an actual bougainvillea flower that fell off of my bougainvillea last year. They stay extremely vibrant in color and in texture. And so I pulled one of the little flowers apart and I made this little specimen slide, Rolodex, memory decks, whatever you want to call it. And then this is another one that I made using some Tim Holtz ephemera up here and some of my new springtime dies from Simon Says Stamp, and I think these are Nordic Arts. And so, yeah, and my stencils from Gina K Designs. And so I'm going to probably be making some of these and also some of my newer Rolodex dies, along with some of the stamped images, which are on my sewing machine table, and I can't get to them right now. But that's something else I'm probably going to be doing on my channel during the week because I am home all week. Spring break, yes. Okay, let's get back to what we're doing. All right, this is an image which is directional. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my tab in half. Now you can see that this side of the tab, everything is facing in the right direction. And on this side, everything is upside down. I'm going to leave this side alone so that when we put it on our page, here, I have this here. When I put it on my page, the part that's upside down will be covered, but the part that's right side up will still show, and it'll be a proper image, okay? That's another little Joni quirk that I needed to share. Okay, so let's grab, I have this one. This was stamped using the Bo Bunny, and you can see this one again is stamped in a greenish color, which is using the Distress Oxide frayed burlap, because you can see how the image kind of expands and isn't quite as clear, because what would it be without me hitting you? I over inked, and so the image just got a little bit mottled. I don't know what other word to use. So this is a postal stamp, and we're going to start with that, and I'm going to put that over here. Maybe we'll stay within the boundaries of the tab this time, and you can see again, my aversion to a white background is not going to be a problem. And again, I'm going to ink only a portion of the image, and I'm going to lay it down on my tab like so, okay? And we'll start with that. And then let's see. I want to see. Oh, I have this one, which is a number 710. The image is kind of blurry, but we're going to add it just to kind of fill up. And then what I'll probably do is cover up the blurry parts. Don't waste not, want not, okay? Use your stuff when you stamp, because like I said, parts of it are blurry, but parts of it are still relatively readable. Okay, I'm going to add that piece there. And let's see, do we have another roundy? Oh, we can take one of our little room pass, okay, and maybe we will kind of put that one right there. Okay, so I'm covering up the blurry 0 in the 710. And this way I'm still able to use it. No whiteness on the back of the image. And we'll just add that little piece right there. Okay. So now we have 3 little pieces. And what should we do? Do we have anything from Tim Holtz? Oh, here we have this nice bright brown piece, which we can add there. You can add as much as you want or as little as you want or none at all. If your Mass Make March wants to be just punching out page tabs, hey, that works for me. You can save them and decorate them up with ephemera when you know what you're using it for. And let's see, we'll just add that. We can put glue on most of this piece, like so. And place it right here. Okay. Whoop. Come on. I knocked them sideways. And there we have that one. And we have an empty corner here, but you know what? That's okay because, oh, but our G is upside down. Let's see. Let's find something tiny. I don't know that I have anything tiny other than using the same thing again. And I don't want to do that. Let's see. Oh, I have this little piece here. And what is this one? Oh, this is a blank tag. Oh, and look, I didn't glue it down. We can actually kind of angle that piece in there. Okay. So for all of you who are OCD and need everything straight like I do, hold your breath, close your eyes, don't look. We're going to kind of put this piece on an angle here and slip this there. How do you like that? I think that's kind of cool. So what I think I'm going to do in this case is I'm just going to add the glue to the tab instead of putting it onto the tiny little piece of ephemera. And I'm going to slide it on. And I'm going to slip it under those corners that were not glued. And we're going to push it down. And I'm going to hold on to it because it is hanging off the edge. I want to make sure it's secure enough that it's going to stay stuck. And what do we have here? We have white. So I'm going to take my vintage photo and I'm just going to put a little bit of ink. Okay, so my OCD worked almost okay. I have the crooked little piece, but I still had that white, and now it's not white anymore. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I know it was relatively quick and simple, and I just realized I never really inked the edge of that 710. So I'm just going to put a little bit of vintage photo on there and kind of grunge it up. There we go. I hope you enjoyed that. I am going to push all of this stuff aside. Okay, so these, where is the one we just made? Oh, here it is. So that's how you make these little pieces, these little page tabs, kind of grungy. Like I said, they're relatively simple, not a lot of ephemera on any of them. But you can always add things. I do have like little gems, and you could put a little, what do you call it? Punch a little hole and add a bulb pin and dangle something off of this as well. You know, and so that when it's, let me grab this piece of paper again. Let's do it on this side. It's less distracting. When you put your page tab on, you have your ephemera hanging off. So your page would go like this. You could put a little hole right here using a hole punch and dangle a little bowl pin with maybe a charm or a gem, a bead. Some beads will fit nicely right onto the bowl pin, and you could do that, okay? Or you could just keep going to town. I mean, you can add as much as you want. You could even put ribbon, well, no, I wouldn't do that, but maybe a little bit of ribbon underneath, like so, okay, hanging off. You can do whatever you want. But there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Do I have any more laying around? I thought I had made another one. I probably did, and I probably misplaced it. But, well, anyway, so here's 4. That'll have to be my mass make March for today. And like I said, you don't even have to decorate them. Get your punch out and just punch them out. I have such a little bunch here. And now the 3 that I made for you guys, we have a whole bunch here. And I still have these to work with. And I can put them aside. I have little plastic bins. Oh, my dogs are wanting some attention. I have little plastic bins where I keep all of my die cut ephemera that I've, made and used, and stuff that I haven't used yet, haven't made anything out of. And I will go in there randomly and grab stuff out, and I will make stuff with it. Okay? So I am going to send you lots of love, big hugs, and ask you to please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. I love to answer your comments. I have, for some reason, my YouTube studio where I go in and I answer comments, because I check it all the time. I missed out on some comments that were like 10 or 12 days old. And I apologize for that. But I do answer the comments, okay? I'm going to link Tony's channel in the description box. I'm going to try to search up these random stamps that I found on Amazon, and I will look for the Cathe Holden one and the Bo Bunny. I'm going to try and find this, and if I can find a link, I'm sure I can find a link for the Vaessen Creative Punch, I will link that too. Okay, guys? So keep your eyes open. Like I said, I'm off all week, and I am going to be playing with my memory decks and my All in Create. I also have an idea for doing some specimen slides using cardstock and a square punch. And so I will come back and I will show you how to do that as well. Okay, guys? Love, hugs, like, subscribe, comment, and I'm going to go take some Tylenol because I think I'm getting sick. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.